another edition of our Heart to Heart. We are still out in beautiful Colorado, and today we're at the Scotti residence in beautiful Cordillera, Colorado. It's where we spent so much time during COVID because their golf course has a driving range, and on Fridays, it was actually our Friday after school sled hill. And we would come with the kids, we would come with our dogs, and it was one of the highlights of our COVID year. And it's all thanks to this beautiful lady who would invite us in every week. This is Carrie Scotti. Hi, Carrie.
Hi.
Thank you so much for sharing your story with us today.
Thanks for inviting me.
It's so happy to be here in your home in Cordillera.
It's so amazing here in the summertime, and just, you feel like the aspen trees were made just for breeze to pass through them, because it's just this quiet little tinkling you can hear in the background, and it's amazing.
So it's so magical up here. It does take 20 minutes up and down the hill to get here, and that's what paralyzes a lot of people from coming up and down here. But once you're up here, you just feel like you're in the clouds. And I am obsessed with Carrie's garden, and I don't know if you could actually see back there, but the peonies that are growing in this backyard, or actually it's your front yard, side yard?
Side yard.
They are just out of control. The flowers grow here just so differently. Something hits different in this mountain air, don't you think?
Yeah.
I know that you're from Texas originally. Flowers don't grow like this in Texas.
No, flowers die in Texas in the scorching heat.
So you hail originally from Texas.
I'm from a small town north of Dallas.
And I am so sorry for what you are going through at this moment in time. I've been living it with you since we've been out here. When one mom cries, all moms cry.
Yeah.
And you were actually a camper at Camp Mystic.
Not at Camp Mystic, at the camp next door, which is called Heart of the Hills.
Oh, forgive me.
That's okay. So they're all sort of the same. There's Camp Mystic, Heart of the Hills, and Waldemar, and they all kind of are within the same sort of camp network. And I was a camper there, and in the late 80s. And
we could edit out the time.
Well, no, it's relevant, because I was a camper there, and in the summer of 1987, in July of 1987, I was on a second floor of a cabin at Heart of the Hills, and all of a sudden a ranch hand stormed into our cabin and said, "Everybody get up, get some things together, get your shoes on, get out." And we were like, what is going on? We had heard thunder and lightning, and we heard it was going to rain some more, which meant we couldn't horseback ride because it was going to be too muddy. So we were upset about that. And the lights didn't work. He had a flashlight, and there was a canoe waiting for us at the first step down from the second floor. So the water had risen all the way through the first floor, which was just administration offices, and then the cabins were up above. And we were rescued by canoe, and we were canoed to safety up on this big hill. There was an old lodge from the turn of the century where it used to be where families would come and vacation, and it got turned into a summer camp. So we were canoed up to the lodge, and there was, like I said, there was no electricity. And I remember waiting for the lightning strikes to strike in order to see where we were going and to see where the floods were, and how it's on the second step, it's on the third step, it's on the fourth step of this great big lodge. And we were up on the third floor, so we were safe after that. But the aftermath and the cleanup, and then of course we heard about in 1987, a group of campers were killed in their camp bus trying to evacuate their camp.
So sorry.
And it just, this wall of water came and swept up the bus and turned it over upside down. And so we were learning about that. We were also cleaning up our own camp and finding, dead fish behind, big pieces of furniture, and the debris and water line all over the place. And it was really traumatic for me. And I remember that it took me about a year after that camp, it took me about a year to not panic and start crying anytime I saw dark clouds in the sky.
Oh, Carrie.
Yeah.
How old were you?
I was 1987. I was 11.
You were Adriana's age.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And at the time, we didn't have constant access to news. You had to, watch the news. My parents got a phone call about it the next day,
Oh,
but they said everybody's fine, and this is, Flood Valley, and it happens. So they really did not understand the magnitude. And in fact, my mom did not even acknowledge that. She didn't even realize it was that big of a deal until this past weekend when the floods came back. They destroyed Heart of the Hills, my camp, and took the owner and director of the camp. It took her life, and she
I'm
was
so sorry.
she was the owner when I was there, and so I remember her fondly. And she had such a warm. I swear she really is an angel. She was an angel on earth.
I'm so sorry.
So it's awful, and I know so many families that through one degree of separation or
Right.
whatever. But some of the girls that died, they were on our school's lacrosse team, little girls
I'm
lacrosse
so
team. It
sorry.
wasn't just our school, but it was some other Catholic schools, and it's just awful.
I am so sorry.
Yeah.
It's the whole community has been shaken.
So, and then my son goes to the brother side of that camp called Camp Stewart, and Camp Stewart founded Camp Mystic. So,
Oh, wow.
and then the Camp Stewart is owned and run by the same family, the Ragsdale family, as Jane Ragsdale, who owned and ran Heart of the Hills. So they're all connected.
And they're all on the Guadalupe River?
Yep, they're all right on the Guadalupe River. Not right on. They're not on the banks, and they're far up above. And to get to the Guadalupe, you have to cross a highway and go down multiple, like a couple of stories of steps, just to get to the actual river. So it takes a great amount of flooding to actually get to the camps.
I mean, these floods look biblical.
I think this is the worst. It's the worst that they've ever seen on record. And it's the most catastrophic. It had to do with two tropical depressions that sort of collided and stuck right over central Texas. And you've got hill country, you've got rocky topsoil, you've got a convergence of several different rivers and creeks. And
it's literally a perfect storm.
Yeah. So when the rain comes, it gets funneled into these deep valleys from the hills and from these rocky cliffs, and it funnels into these rivers and creeks, and then it happens so quickly. And flash flooding is a problem all over Texas. It's a problem in Dallas, which is where I've lived the last 3 years. So it's something that we deal with.
Sorry.
But this is it's on another level.
Well, from the moment it happened, we've been waiting to see if Marco, your son, is going to be able to go to camp, because he's supposed to leave he was supposed to leave any day now.
Yeah, he was supposed to leave this coming weekend.
Right.
For 2 weeks, for the last 2 weeks of the last term of camp.
And he was set to go to the brother camp of Camp Mystic.
He was yes and no. Yes and no.
Okay.
So Camp Mystic was founded by the same guy who founded Camp Stewart.
Okay.
But the real brother sister camp is probably Heart of the Hills and Camp Stewart.
Got it.
But they're all connected.
Okay.
And they all get together with boy-girl dances, and it's like a big deal every summer. But yes, we kept waiting to hear, and we knew it was the Ragsdale family. We knew that Jane Ragsdale from Heart of the Hills had died, heroically trying to save counselors. So we were trying to be very, hands off, and they've got their own problems. And at the same time, we were like, is this going to happen? I'm not so sure I wanted to send him, because the soil there is it can't handle a lot of absorption, and it's very like dry and western and rocky, and it's already heavily saturated. It's like a sponge. So like there's not much more precipitation that anything can take. And he's older now, where he was going to be doing this outdoorsman adventure part of the camp where he's camping in tents, like just a regular tent outdoors.
I have to think that your PTSD from your 11-year-old experience has been creeping up on you, huh?
Yeah, it has. Some other friends who were sending their sons to camp, they were like, yeah, we want them to go. Absolutely. Their camp was not destroyed. Go out there and have fun and help out your community. And I I couldn't get there. And I'm not an overly protective mother. I'm very much like, you need to get out and you need to
You've been very good at that
become
always.
independent, and you're 13 now. I don't need to be making things for you. You
Sure.
need to do things yourself. But this was the one time when I was like, I just, in good conscience, couldn't send
Of course.
my son there this year.
Sure.
And I think my husband and I grappled with it a lot. And he was very adamantly, he didn't want to send him.
Sure.
But he ultimately said, hey, it's your decision. But then I just couldn't. He's our only son.
Yeah.
And if something were to happen to him, I don't even want to think about it. So
Absolutely. So you got the call last night.
we got the call last night that camp was canceled, and I was relieved. And I know he's bummed about it. He doesn't really understand the severity.
Right.
And he had said, I don't understand. I could just swim out of my cabin. And I said, no, you don't. You don't understand. And he won't understand until he's much older. But
I don't think any child can
No.
comprehend what has just happened. And again, I am so sorry. Our hearts are with the state of Texas.
Thank you.
Our hearts are with everybody in the Hidden Hills community. This has sent shockwaves through the entire nation. I think everybody is hugging their children a little bit closer.
Absolutely.
Everybody seems to go through this rite of passage of sleepaway camp. And it's really rocked our country.
Yeah. I can't actually believe it. I can't believe that even the Pope said something about us or them. And, I would have thought that this would kind of be a blip, or maybe like a sensational story because it happened 4th of July, and then it would kind of go away because, we deal with these floods all the time. But it turned out to be so much more catastrophic, and the death toll keeps rising. They just keep finding more and more. And the stories that I have heard from first responders, people that were there trying to help other people get out.
Heroes,
and also they will be haunted for the rest of their lives.
Our hearts are with everybody. Is there anything that anybody who's watching today could do to help?
There are a couple of, I'm trying to think of, I don't have the exact websites, but there's several different things that I know that they're looking for more bodies, more people to help, but they're also looking for food donations, clean water sources. So donate pallets of bottled water. And I know that there's a lot of cadaver dogs that are exhausted, that are just falling asleep because they've been up for 40 hours. And there's humans there that are exhausted, and
so manpower.
I think that any donation can help. Obviously, if you can't donate, your own manpower, then $10-$20. I think to the Red Cross, and there's a couple of other ways to help, but I don't have them.
Yes, of course. We'll find them by the time we post this, and we'll be happy to share with the Heartful Living community, because it's just, I'm telling you, it's been really hard to watch.
Yeah.
Really hard to watch.
Yeah.
Will you be going back to Texas from this summer? Because you actually have an announcement. You're moving to California.
So, yes. So the perpetual movers that we've found ourselves we've become perpetual movers, I guess, since COVID. But we've spent the last 3 years in Dallas, and now we're moving back to Los Angeles because my husband's job is in Los Angeles, and he's been commuting back and forth, and it's just not it's not sustainable. It's just not something that we can do any longer. And I have mixed emotions about it. On the one hand, we found a wonderful school for Marco to go to, which I had my eye on before we even moved to Texas. I was just blown away by this one school. And
so Carrie, let me stop you right there, and let's start your story, kind of hit the reset on your story. Marco was born and raised in California.
He was actually born in Dallas.
He was born in Dallas.
And then we moved to LA. My husband's family's older. They were starting to age. When your parents and your extended family start aging and people start coming around. You're like, who is this wacky person?
Right.
Especially in LA, you're surrounded by wacky people. It's the land of misfits. So we thought, we really need to be back with the family.
Okay.
And, to keep an eye on things. And so we were there until COVID. And then COVID hit, and I know that it has affected everyone. But I remember watching the news and being envious of Florida, being envious of Texas, and being envious of places like this where you weren't chastised, you weren't cut off from friends. In LA, they shut everything down. They bulldozed the playgrounds with sand. So they would put sand, and they would bury the campground
to avoid the temptation.
They buried skate parks with sand. They closed off all hiking trails.
Wow.
They had the Parks and Recreation people standing there like in the entrance of all the hiking trails.
Wow.
And it was like roped off, and they're like, you cannot. Also, in the land of the fruits and nuts, Californians are, they're still masking up and wearing masks alone in their car, and just, it's insane. But at the time, everybody had to mask up. We had to wear masks outdoors. There was, at one point, we got into a little bit of an altercation. I was on a hike way up on a mountain where other people were hiking too, and before they closed all the hiking trails.
Yeah.
And I had my dog, and I had a large 100-pound Rhodesian Ridgeback, Ruby. And she's such
awesome.
a sweet girl. She just loves coming up to anybody and just like, hey, what's going on? And there was a family that was a grandmother with them, and we were hiking, and they yelled at me for allowing my dog to come too close to them.
Ruby?
Yes, to come, because it was an off-leash area, and dogs can roam wherever they want. And she was coming within 6 feet of them, and the grandmother just went off and said, I could die because of this. Because my
was this
dog,
early on?
This was like April or May.
Okay, this was before you came out.
Yeah, of 2020. And she could die because the dog could give her COVID. Just really lost the plot here, people.
Wow.
We lost friends, meaning that, of course, everybody survived, but they will no longer talk to us because they saw us out on another trail before they closed the hiking trails. And Marco saw his best friend at the time and ran up to him and gave him a hug, not thinking, and he had just turned 8, so he was 8.
Of course.
Not thinking of the ramifications and the 6 feet. He just saw
it was instinctual for him
his
to
buddy.
go, who he hadn't seen in forever,
and just gave him a big hug. And the friend kind of jumped back, and the whole family. And then I got a text message saying, "This is so irresponsible of you."
Oh, Carrie, I'm so sorry.
And never talked to them again, which was really sad because they lived just above us in the hills in LA, and we were becoming more friendly with them, and we were no longer welcome. And
so at what point, what was the decision that made you come out to Colorado?
So my family has a house here, and we were going to come out after Thanksgiving, and because California was doing Zoom school, or online school, or whatever you want to call it. And our private school that Marco was going to, which was a wonderful school before COVID, just kept clamping down harder and harder, and they couldn't open their doors. I understand that, but all of the county rules and all of the COVID numbers, we were constantly watching every single day. What were the numbers at this week? Are they going to open school back up?
Yeah.
And it was all these constant maybes, and then the next week, nope, we're not coming to school. So we decided that after Thanksgiving we were just going to drive out here and he was just going to do online school, and we would go snowboarding and skiing.
Right.
So we did that, and as I just kept watching the news and online and everything, and I'm like, they are not opening school in California.
Yeah.
They're not going to do it. This was Thanksgiving of 2020, so like it had already been going on for a while. My Texas friends and family were like, well, I don't see what the problem is. We're back at school.
Yeah.
Like, sure, if they want to wear masks, fine.
Yeah.
And it just like, it made me so angry, because here my child was suffering and was isolated, and he had no friends, except for online.
Yeah.
We would get requests for, hey, does Marco want to do an online play date?
I know.
I'm like, and do what?
Exactly.
Stare at a screen? He already does that for Zoom school.
Yeah.
If you want to hang out with Marco, you're going to do it in person, which of course was just, the worst thing in the world to Californians is to hang out in person. God
So
forbid.
I never asked you how it was that you ended up at the school.
So,
because I remember Marco joined the classroom later.
Yes, we came the spring semester.
Right.
So when we came out after Thanksgiving, and I'm like, they're never going to open school.
Mm-hmm.
I just remember every time we drove down the hill, there would be Vail Christian Academy. And even my mother had said, you know what, you should just send Marco there. They're never going to open school. They're not going to open school in California.
Right.
He really needs to be. So I kind of got sort of permission to be that indulgent, where he's enrolled in one private school in Los Angeles and then coming here. But we made it work, and we had him do a shadow day in December. And then,
and that was it.
That was it. I was like, he's enrolled. We're going.
Yeah.
And
Marco immediately just meshed into that classroom. That cohort was so magical.
Yeah.
Him with my son Danny and our other friend Max Diaz, they were like the three amigos. They were inseparable. And wasn't it amazing to see? It's like they craved social interaction, and the fact that they were able to do it in this setting, what a blessing.
Yeah, it was pretty magical. It made up for a lot of the behavioral issues that cropped up that were never part of Marco's personality that happened during COVID. He started collecting stuffed animals.
I remember that.
And he would panic and start to cry if we left the house without all of his stuffed animals. And his stuffed animals had to sit on the table while we had dinner.
I remember that.
Those are his friends.
I know.
And that was really hard to watch, because he was never a stuffed animal talking to imaginary friends person, not even at 2.
No.
So I was like, that's not right. That's a huge sign. We need to do something.
Yeah.
And so luckily we had the flexibility to make this happen. And it took a couple weeks, maybe a month, but he one by one, he started letting go of his stuffed animals.
Yeah.
I gave them all away. And he got better at snowboarding. I got better at skiing. And we would ski with you guys on the weekends.
And we made lemonade.
Yeah.
We totally made lemonade out of
lemons.
It
was
as my mother-in-law would call us and tell us, she's like, you guys aren't making lemonade, you guys are making champagne.
Yeah.
And my husband would say, this is such a blessing in disguise.
Yeah. It really was really magical, and I'm so blessed that it all
worked out.
And I'm so thankful that we've kept in touch.
Oh, yes.
And that I've kept in touch with several other families here.
Yes.
So that anytime we're here, I can say, hey,
that's the double blessing here. I had always been coming out as a child, but I would come out here and I didn't have local friends.
Yeah.
It took COVID for me to have local friends out here. Did that happen to you as well?
Yeah. We were always coming, Texans invade Colorado 2 or 3 times a year, and Coloradans put up with us. Thank you. And so we were always coming as like the Texans,
right?
And it took living here to get to know people and form bonds. What I hope to be lifelong friendships and
couldn't agree
connections.
More. Yeah. So, but you and I, for it's funny because our cohort, there was a lot of people that came fleeing COVID and enrolling their children, and they ended up staying.
Yeah.
But you and I knew from our group that this was just a moment in time.
Yeah, I was hoping that it would be
I
forever.
remember.
And I think my husband gave it a good fair shot, but he realized he just had too good of a gig back in LA, and it just we really needed to prioritize that.
So your intention was to go back to LA after COVID.
Yeah.
I was going to go back to Miami, and we would meet up holidays
Yes.
and hang out here. However, you took a turn from LA and you went back home to Texas.
So
tell us about that.
After COVID, or after our year here, or 9 months here, we went back to LA. We were still enrolled in Marco's former school in LA. And I was heading up a big Parents Association position, and so I had to be there. And so we sort of dove back in, but it was bizarro world. It was, I can't even describe it. It was not the LA that pre-COVID. And it still has not recovered. It's not the same LA. And there was a lot of division. There was a lot of nanny state-ish behavior where people were ratting other people out for hanging out with people that, I mean, we still had strict
like tattletaling?
Yes, tattletaling.
Wow.
And in fact, our school encouraged it.
Wow.
But then I said, stop being such a stubborn, headstrong Texan. We're not gonna make waves.
Right.
We've got another 2 years at this school, and then it ends, and then you go on to another school. Let's just
bear down, hunker
down, grin and bear it.
Yeah.
And right after we signed our contracts that we were coming back for the 2022-2023 year, there was a school-wide email that got sent out, and they decided they were going to mandate the COVID vaccine for our kids.
And at this point, Marco's 9 or 10?
He's 10. He just turned 10. Okay. And he was just finishing up his 4th grade year. And I was making my peace with being back in LA, and, and we get this email, and it says everyone must be vaccinated. You have 48 hours to decide whether or not you're going to do this.
Wow.
Because as of X date, your financial contracts become legally binding, and you're on the hook for thousands and thousands of dollars. And that was just a gut punch,
Yeah.
Because sure, I knew people, I found out later that some of the parents faked it.
Wow.
Faked the vaccine. But I didn't feel that was right, and I was just so furious.
Sure.
And so we left.
But the crazy thing is, when that message got to you, where was your husband?
So when this email showed up, my husband was in Dallas on a business trip, and he was staying with some friends. And this was, rewinding and reminding people, this was spring of 2022. This is when interest rates were still like bottom of the barrel.
Right.
And houses were being snapped up sight unseen.
Left and right.
And especially in Texas and Florida, where it was just going gangbusters. And I had flirted with the idea of going back to Texas because I needed some sanity and some rational thought.
Sure.
And I didn't like what was being shoved down our throats at Marco's school and in LA in general. And so I had flirted with it and was looking at houses online, and my husband was like, that's not happening. But this sort of forced our hand. He happened to be in Dallas, and he said, there's a little cottage down the street that says coming soon. And he, made friends with the realtor, and we made an offer based on a FaceTime of, hey, here's the house and here it is inside.
It was meant to be.
It was meant to be. And at the same time, he spoke to another neighbor on that same street whose kids go to this lovely Catholic school right in the Park Cities of Dallas. If you know Dallas, that's like the epicenter of everything. And they said, oh, we've got space available in Marco's year. And I said, no, there's never space at this school. There's never space. There's always waiting lists. But sure enough, it was a year that some people had moved and had gone to another school. So there was room. And so
Godsidence.
Godsidence.
I love that word. It's not a coincidence. It's Godsidence.
It was a Godsidence.
Yep.
And so we did a shadow day at Christ the King Catholic School in Dallas, Texas. And
so in the 48 hours, you had to decide whether or not you would be returning to the school you already had paid for up front.
Uh-huh.
You had a house and a school.
Yeah.
In Dallas.
Yes.
That's crazy. So your decision was made.
Yeah, the decision was made, and it was made in such a, we had to, I don't want to say resign, but we had to relinquish our spot at this coveted school in LA. And
how did Marco feel?
He really just didn't give too much of an opinion, other than he says, well, I don't like what my school has become, but I'm really sad I'm going to leave all my friends.
Oh.
And he was pretty sad about the friend part.
Sure.
And none of us realized how magical of a existence he had in LA at this school, where everything is outside.
Right.
And you get to show up early and run and get all of your wiggles out.
But this was pre-COVID.
Pre-COVID, yeah.
So his idea of going back to that school was what he had experienced beforehand.
Right. And it just wasn't the same.
Wow.
You had to wear, at one point they made us wear double masks. It had to be double, not one, but two. It had to be cotton masks.
I remember you telling me, I need to run and get cotton masks because it's the only thing allowed.
No surgical masks. It had to be cotton, and then they doubled up at one point, and some kids threw up and passed out because it was,
hot.
Late August, early September, and up on top of a mountain in Los Angeles, it's hot. It's 100 degrees.
So you left everything in LA,
and then
moved into your cottage in Dallas.
Into our cottage in Dallas, which we lovingly called the Scottage.
Love it.
So we moved into this cottage, and we started this Catholic school, knowing absolutely no one. We knew tangentially, we knew friends, but we didn't know anyone in Marco's grade. And it was such a blessing. I cherish our 3 years at Christ the King because
Has it already been 3 years?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, because it was such a small school. They had such a tight-knit community. And what I did not realize is that if you're all the same faith, you can come from different parts of the world, but if you're all the same faith and you're all going to the same school, it really, really simplifies your friendships and your bond and your community.
Yeah.
We're all after the same
thing. Yeah.
And I did not realize that was such a huge part of what a community is. And what I got in that community in Dallas was unending support. And, hey, do you need me to pick up Marco? Or, hey, can you pick up my kids today and I'll pick up Marco tomorrow? And these are people that I met last week. And, hey, we do a monthly birthday celebration for all the boy moms. And they were really, really instrumental in sort of getting me back into being a social being.
And that's what Heartful Living is all about. Authenticity, real life, leading with a grateful heart. They are living it day to day in your school community, which is so beautiful. And parenting does not come with an instruction manual, I always say. And you need a tribe.
Yeah.
And so you found your tribe in Dallas, right?
And I, you know, we're all winging it.
Yeah.
So, you know, I felt like I had so much support there, and a lovely parents association, and one other thing that I got introduced to in Dallas was, once we got there and we got settled in, and I immediately jumped into parents association, and I did a lot of graphic design work and all this stuff.
And side note, at this point, Anthony's traveling back and forth.
Yes. Yep. Anthony's still traveling back and forth.
So you really had the time to just soak in Dallas lifestyle.
Yeah.
What's that like?
Oh, a lot of bright colors. Dallas women love their bright colors and love their beautiful dresses. And you know, I was coming from, you just throw on a tank top and like a messy top knot and
California laid back.
Yeah, California laid back. So when I get back to Texas, it was kind of like, oh right, I forgot. This is how we dress, and this is how we, you know, we do our hair and we put on makeup, and you know, we have an outfit.
Yeah.
So that took some getting used to, and but everybody was just so genuine, and everybody just wanted to include us, and they were so glad that we were there. And I had not felt that warmth since we left Colorado.
Wow.
So to have that in Texas was such a blessing, and then to meet all these wonderful women. And then over time, there was like a group of women that started playing Mahjong, and they kept inviting, you know, anybody who wanted to join. They're like, come on, Carrie, come play Mahjong. And I just took one look at what they were doing in this trifold booklet of lines that you have to learn how to, all these numbers and everything. And I'm not very good with numbers. And I just took one look at that, and I was like, absolutely not. No, thank you. Okay. No, thank you. And then I kept getting pressured. I'm like, you know what? It's a social event. Okay. All right, fine.
Because it's a very big social event in Texas.
It's big. It's sometimes there's not a lot of mahjonging that takes place, because you start talking and they're like, oh wait, it's my turn. But that being said, I went to a couple of like parties that helped you learn how to play. And then it really came, once I figured out how to play, even as timidly as I'm like, I don't know, Mahjong?
Yeah.
Did I Mahjong? Did I, complete this list of numbers? And so once I figured out how to do that, it kind of opened up. I met more people, I met more moms, and we started playing regularly. And we meet at a cafe in Dallas that they let us have this back room, and we would play Mahjong.
That's amazing.
And then I started co-hosting Mahjong parties, themed Mahjong parties, where we had themed tables.
Love
we
that.
had a California theme, we had a Texas theme, we had a Christmas theme, we had spring, like Eastery theme. We had Luck of the Irish, where it was all like,
how cute is that?
Yeah, and so different people brought their different tile sets that were different themed.
Now, what I see about Mahjong, because the student has become the teacher, and I am bringing back to Miami a newfound love for Mahjong. I cannot wait to teach everybody back home.
Yeah.
What you explained to me about Mahjong, it's not about the game. It's about how beautiful your table is.
Right.
And you have these gorgeous parties with these beautiful tiles.
Yeah.
And it's a social event.
It really is.
And you get lost in the beauty of the tiles. They're hand painted, and the mats. And it's almost an art, what you're looking at here. And it's become like the social thing to do in Texas.
Yes, it's so big. It's so big. And I brought my Mahjong set up here last summer in 2024. And I taught my mom. And
Grandma Sue.
Yeah, Grandma Sue. And my mom is a card shark. She really, she picks up games really quickly.
I saw you that.
She had a hard time at first. She had a really hard time with it. I think because stubbornly she thought, but that's not, I should be able to do this.
Right.
Or, whatever. So once she finally got everything down, she became obsessed.
She's amazing.
And so now she plays, and we've got a Mahjong game that we're going to.
I know. We're going
In
to
a
cut
little
this
bit.
short because we are actually getting our Mahjong on.
Yes, we are Mahjong.
We're Mahjong.
Yeah. But there's a lot of some of the best manufacturers of American Mahjong tiles are all based in Dallas.
It's amazing.
There's Oh My Mahjong, the Mahjong line, Peace Love Mahjong, and then there's Bespoke Mahjong. Do you know
Oh my
about
goodness,
Bespoke?
no.
Okay, Bespoke Mahjong makes tables that have automatic. There's two sets of tiles. One set of tiles has already been sorted underneath, and you push a button and they pop up, and the lines are already done on all
The
sides.
walls are already
The
made.
walls are already made. There's a round thing that pops up in the middle, and you shove, when you're done with one game, you shove the tiles in, and it goes, and it pops down and goes,
That's amazing.
and it shuffles everything, and it pops up a different set of tiles ready for you to go.
That's awesome. Are you gonna get it?
I don't know that I have the room because it's a pretty big table.
Is it?
And it's a big commitment, price wise. But for now, I'm just going to stick with.
So, what are you hopeful for your move back to California? Are you hoping to take Mahjong there too?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. I can't wait to co-host a party.
Yeah.
For Mahjong, and
why don't you come to Miami?
I would love to come to Miami
and host a Mahjong party with us.
I would love that. I'll bring
a Heartful Living. You could be our teacher. You and Grandma Sue could be our teacher. This is, my friends in Miami, this is a mix of dominoes with Rummy Cube.
Yeah, it's a lot like Rummy Cube, Rummy Tile, or I don't want to say gin rummy, but it's some of the same concepts.
It's got the vibe of it.
Yeah.
And it's all meshed together. It does take a learning curve.
Yeah.
But I mean, I've got my cards waiting at home.
Oh, good.
And I got kids' cards because I think that the best way to teach the grandmothers in our home will be teaching them through the kids' cards.
I agree. I meant to do that. I just haven't done that yet.
Okay. Well, that's it. I'm coming to California.
Okay.
And we're going to co-host a Mahjong party in California once you're settled.
Amazing.
And in return, you're going to come to Miami.
I'll come to Miami.
And we'll do Mahjong in Miami.
As long as we can teach the house rules that I play by, which are a little bit looser. They're a little fast and loose.
Messy Mahjong is the way to go.
Yeah. And playing with blanks.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
But I would love to.
Okay. Me too. Can't wait. I look forward to it. Carrie, thank you for sharing your story. Once again, our thoughts and prayers are with Texas and the entire community there. We will be posting links to how we can help.
Okay.
So please let me know what those are.
Okay.
And we do got to cut this short because we got Mahjong.
I know. We got a Maj.
We got a Maj. Bye, everybody. Thank you.